Welcome, everybody, to episode 10 of Save and a Beauty, the playoff edition. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. There's usually three of us here. Right now, there's just two. It's myself, Rob from Long Island, and a man of many words and sound effects, Ishmael up in Toronto. The beauty, Carly, is not here. We think she's out driving around looking for cows right now, but she's not here. So we have a third person who will be joining us, Nick Mullick, who's been on the show before. However, I'm getting a message from him right now that his internet just crashed. So hopefully he'll be joining us shortly and he can join the fun and frivolity that we're going to be having here. So for now, you're stuck with the two of us, which, could be depressing to look at. But hey, you know what? What can I tell you? This is just a hockey podcast. Ish, how are you in lovely Toronto today? How are the Maple Leaf fans? Are they okay? Have they accepted the fact they're not in the playoffs? Are they walking around town wearing black garments? I mean, what's going on in Toronto?
That's what's going on in Toronto. So, yeah.
As I said, he has his sound effects all ready for the show, so we just don't know where we're going to go with this. So,
yeah. So, I mean, it's a different. It's been a long time since the Leafs haven't been in the playoffs. So it's kind of like now I can watch the playoffs in peace.
Yes, we both can actually.
So,
We both can. No stress here. No stress.
No
Just
stress.
enjoy the hockey.
Although that game last night between the Hurricanes and Senators that went into the double overtime, that was quite a game. I mean,
Was.
people left. I believe when the first when the initial goal happened in the first OT, and I believe I heard I saw on Reddit some people left, and then they realized on the way to the car in the parking lot that goal was reversed. So they couldn't get back in. So I mean
And they wouldn't let him back in. Once you're out, you can't come back. So, for anybody that's joining this podcast, obviously we're filming this as the playoffs have already begun. We understand some of the games have been played, and we're going to talk about them. But we didn't want to go without having a prediction show. We can make all of our predictions so everybody can see how foolish we are, but we're going to do them anyway. But yes, the hockey playoffs have started. As we speak right now, a couple of games are actually getting underway. We have Tampa and Montreal just getting underway for their game too. And a little bit later, Buffalo and Boston, which is the series that I've been enjoying so far, their game two will begin. There's a couple other games tonight as well. But I think what we're going to do today is we're going to go around series by series. We're going to make our predictions, and yes, I understand we know some of the results so far, but it's okay. It doesn't mean that they can't change. We're going to make our predictions for the first round, and then we're just going to go from there, and we're going to predict the conference winners, Stanley Cup Finals, and who's going to win the Cup, and who will be the Conn Smythe MVP, and we'll see if either of us get lucky. Carly has nicely sent us her predictions, and we will put them on the screen in a little while so everybody can see what Carly did. But in the meantime, Ishmael, why don't we kick it off, and why don't we start with the Eastern Conference, and we're going to start with the first series, which is 2 games in, which has to be a bit of a surprise right now. Philadelphia-Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had 2 games at home, but they didn't win either. Philadelphia took it to them in game 1, and they took it to them last night convincingly. And I got to tell you, say hello to Porter Martone wherever you are, because this kid, just out of college, he's become a stud really fast. He just seems to be scoring a goal a game. So it just seems to me, Ish, that Pittsburgh, they're out of gas already, and it's 2 games in. They look old. They look old, and they are old.
Well, if I could drop a wrestling reference here, So this past weekend, WrestleMania happened, and one of the themes going into that was Roman Reigns. And I wish Nick was here for to hear this, but Roman Reigns called CM Punk old,
Yes,
and
he did.
and
Yes, he did.
you saw that, and I was hoping we could see that on Monday Night Raw, that CM Punk, in that match, CM Punk got, he lost and he got tired, he couldn't deliver that GTS, the second GTS. He got tired, he fell to his knees, and then Roman Reigns won. So I was hoping, CM Punk would be like, "Oh, I got tired," and then Roman Reigns would be like, "See, you're tired, you're old, you can't do anything. You should quit while you're ahead." That reminds me, of this, that Pittsburgh, they have experience, but you gotta understand their top six scorers are 31 and older, and I mean the experience is one thing, but you gotta understand this Philadelphia team. It's young, it's
Hmm.
full of energy.
Hmm.
I mean, I forget that one player who went for that penalty shot, who outskated Carlson towards the goal. I mean, he went like lightning ahead of Carlson, and he was I think, and you can see the age
Yeah,
difference.
that was Tippett. Tippett. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can see the age difference between them, and you can see he was gonna outskate Carlson. He's on the wrong side of 30s, but the age factor was just noticeable there. So, I mean, this is the end of it's the end of a time where and you can see in other series, you can see in Montreal and Tampa, you can see in Buffalo and Bruins. It's time for a new generation to rise up. It's the young guns who are gonna stand up now.
Well, I mean, like I said, it just seems that Pittsburgh just looks old, and of course you got Crosby, Letang, and Malkin all came into the league around the same time. They're all around the same age. If they don't turn this around, this could be over pretty quick. I mean, the next two games are going to be in Philadelphia. I still have to believe that the Penguins are going to come up with something to get back in this series. But if they don't, then all the questions going into the offseason are going to be, are these guys even going to come back next year? I mean, I would think at least Crosby will come back, but this could be the last we see of Malkin. It could be the last we see of Letang. It could be the last we see of Eric Carlson, another aging player. You got to wonder. You got to wonder, Ish, if this, unless they turn around, this could be the end of we're seeing of some great players, Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I mean, it is because, like I said, it's the new generation. It's now like experience in the playoffs is valuable, but it's the young guns now that are making a splash now.
Now, before the series started, I had predicted, I still thought that the Flyers were going to win. I just thought that they're coming in on a high. I mean, they had to, scruff their way to get into the playoffs. They were down by like 9 points sometime in March, and they had a great streak, and they got into the playoffs. Nobody thought they were going to make it. They've been playing well. Their goaltending's been solid. Dan Vladar, a no name, but he's been solid. He hasn't been spectacular. He's been solid, and they're getting scoring from a lot of players. They are a very young team. They're now one of the youngest teams in the league. And like I said earlier, this Porter Martone, right out of college, right into the lineup, he played like a handful of games before the end of the season, and now he's in the playoffs. And the kid just seems to be at the right place at the right time. Um, Again, not going out on a limb here. I'm going to now pick that the Flyers are going to win this series in 5 games. I get it. They're already up 2-0, but I still would have picked them anyway. I was going to pick them in 6, but now due to the fact that they won 2 games on the road, I'm going to go with the Flyers in 5.
Well, you're right. They are the young team. To be exact, they are the third youngest team in this playoffs. The first youngest are the Montreal Canadiens. The second youngest are the Buffalo Sabres. So all three young teams in the East. So there you have it. And you can see how this how these how their series have gone so far. Like all three teams getting the win. Of course, it's only one game in Buffalo, Boston, and Montreal, Tampa. But of course, the impacts are very early by the young guns. So, um, but yeah, like as you can see, as you can clearly tell, Philadelphia has clearly shown that they even though they don't have their playoff experience, they They have that ability to take the experienced players farther. I mean, I believe. Did you say 6 games or five
I
games?
say 5 now because again they're up 2-0 already. I mean, you can pin a prick if you want. I originally was saying Flyers in 6. I've just cut back a game. I just don't think that the series, if the way the Flyers are playing right now, they're just out of it. I just don't see them making a great comeback. I still think they can steal a game, but besides that, I just think the Flyers have their number right now.
Yeah, and now it's the series is shifting towards Philadelphia, and you want
Hmm.
to play in that arena,
Yeah,
with
that environment. They'll be playing Kate Smith. God bless America. And it's going to be. They haven't been in the playoffs in a long time. I assume you're picking the Flyers as well.
I did. Yes, I am.
All right. So we both are on the Flyers bandwagon, and again, we'll show Carly's predictions later on, so we can see what she picked. And love to have Nick join us, but right now he's still trying to figure out his internet. So anyway, we're going to keep moving on. Another series that is already 2 games in, that's also 2-0, but extremely competitive, and last night especially, are the Ottawa Senators up against Carolina Hurricanes. Ottawa is now down 2 games to none. They were shut out in the first game by Carolina 3-0. And then last night, though, what a crazy game. Double overtime. Ottawa, I thought, was the better team from the second period on. They just couldn't get that goal. They couldn't get that goal to win, and Carolina found a way to put one past Linus Olmark, and they won the game. They're now up 2-0. But there was a lot of interesting things that took place in last night's game, and maybe while I talk a little bit, maybe Ishmael, you can pull it up so we can show this on the show. The offsides goal that was called back that would have eventually won the game for Carolina. So we were late in the game, and everybody thought that Carolina had scored the go-ahead, which would have been the winning goal in overtime, that would have put them up to win the game. And Carolina's celebrating. Jankowski scored the goal, and everybody's celebrating. Some of the players from Ottawa already had skated off the ice. Lo and behold, after a few minutes, the officials said we need to look at this again. We need to check it out to see if this is a legit goal. So Ishmael, are you able to pull it up right now and show it?
Yeah, I'm just getting it up.
All right. So basically, what happened is they were looking at the replay to see. First of all, the Kings were already about to get a power play, so they had an extra skater on the ice. So they were up 6 players to 5, and what happened was there was an offside, and the goal was called back. Again, if we could show it, we can talk about it, and it was an extremely close call. You had Jordan Stahl coming in across the blue line, and one of the other Carolina players, and the name escapes me, they were basically coming at the same time, and Stahl was kind of bringing in the puck backward across the blue line, and the rule is kind of vague with offsides and goalie interference, so it's kind of hard to say what's up. And unfortunately, I just got a word from Nick that his internet has officially died. He will not be joining us. So I can ask him if he can come on his phone, but right now it's just going to be me and you, Ishi. So that's okay. So anyway,
Right.
can you show the replay now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
pull it
got
up.
it right here.
All right, so let's roll it. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna play it after the goals. After
Sure.
they've got the goal
Okay,
celebration.
that's fine. So basically, here they are celebrating the goal. You think the game is over. Carolina's celebrating in their third jerseys. Crowd's going crazy. Some of the Ottawa players are going to start to go off the ice, as you see right here. They think the game is over. But it's not over until it's official in Toronto. Somebody from Toronto must have called the officials and say, wait a minute, we need to look at this again because there's a possibility it might be offside. Now, some of the players did stay on the bench. You can see here. Some of the players on Ottawa are still sitting around. Kachuk, obviously, the captain, is still there. Some of the players, like I said, they had already left. They gave up. But in a moment, you're going to see that the officials are going to start to look at this. So, here we go. Here's the replay. Now, this replay, it doesn't show the offsides.
Let me just go
It
forward
doesn't
then.
show it. But if you keep it running, eventually, maybe you can fast forward this video-ish. Maybe we can go to the replay so we can see them actually showing the replay of the offsides. Can you forward it? Just scroll a little forward. Because I want to see if we can show. Okay, here we go. Now, if you look at the blue line, they're showing it right now. As they come across that blue line, it's very close. You can see the skater at center ice is in the zone. That's Jordan Stoll against the wall trying to come across. As you see, he was coming in backward.
What do you think about that offside? And then would the slashing still stand if it was offside?
There. This one is good.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what their
Well,
judgment
this is ESPN's feed talking about what happened.
As long as you were in possession
But they,
and control of
see,
the
look how
puck
close that is.
before your feet
And I hate
break
to
the
see
puck.
officials making judgment calls in playoff
Does have
games.
possession and control, in my opinion,
It's
before
part
his
of the
feet break the
game.
puck. Now,
And
once
you're
I mean,
right.
that was very close. Yeah.
he
You
needs to
can
have
mute it.
possession
You can mute the
control.
volume.
When the puck
But
breaks the
basically, it
puck,
was viewed
not necessarily
offside.
the stick has to be on
So
it.
they
As long
took
as
the
you
goal
can take
away.
it.
The goal did not count. So now all the Ottawa players had to all come back on the ice. But what was funny about this is, even though they gave it no goal, they still awarded Carolina a power play with a penalty. The penalty still counted. So
Oh no, I think they gave them a penalty shot.
they did. They gave him a penalty shot. Correct. They said it was a hook. So they gave a penalty shot to Jordan Martinook. And Martinook came in on Linus Ullmark. And good shot. But Ullmark made the save. And the game continued. And like I said, we went to a second overtime. And then eventually Carolina was able to score the game winner. So they're up 2-0. And that series is now headed back to Ottawa, where the Ottawa fans are going to be crazy when their team comes home. Now, this series, my prediction is interesting because most people are predicting Carolina's going to win. They're usually a good playoff team. They never can get to the finals, but they always do at least 1 or 2 rounds in. They've had a great season. They've been in first place all season. I don't see them dominating Ottawa. I really don't. I see Ottawa pretty much sticking with them neck and neck. Ottawa's a slightly younger team. And if Ottawa can get the goaltending they've been getting from Ullmark in this series, I really think they have a chance to steal it. I understand they're down 2-0. It's a bold prediction on my part. I'm going to predict Ottawa in 7 to take this series and move on. Again, I know I'm going on a limb for that, but I was picking Ottawa before the playoffs actually started, but I'm going to still stick with Ottawa in 7-ish.
I think I see your point. It's really a battle of two really outstanding goalies. You know, Freddie Anderson has been the key player for the Canes. You know, like he got that shutout in the first game. So that was, you know, I believe that was his first career shutout against Ottawa, whether it was postseason or regular season. So that was, of course, great. I mean, yeah, you know, like I honestly will respectfully disagree with you. Like, I think that you know, Carolina has they're like I know the regular season it counts. It doesn't matter for much when it comes to the playoffs, but you know, they were the top team in the East for a reason, and you know, like I think that so far, like I think we'll have to see how much Ottawa's home crowd affects them, but seems like you know that they have a stranglehold in the series, and you know how much of that Ottawa home crowd will affect Freddie. We'll have to have a look, but you know, so far it seems like Carolina has a momentum going into Ottawa. So I think that it's Carolina that's going to come out on top.
How many games?
I think it's going to be 6 games.
Okay. So you have Carolina, I have Ottawa. So we're split for that one. So, all right. Let's continue moving on. Let's go to the other 2 games in the Eastern Conference. We were speaking about young teams before, and you mentioned the Montreal Canadiens being one of the youngest. Well, lo and behold, the Canadiens went into Tampa Bay the other night, and thanks to their really great young player, I think he's only 20 or 21 years old, Yurov Slavkovsky, scored a hat trick. All 3 of his goals on power plays, by the way. And the Lightning won Game 1 in overtime. The Canadiens won Game 1 in overtime over the Lightning, so they're up 1-0. Game 2 is going on right now as we speak, as a matter of fact. This is an interesting series. You got Marty St. Louis coaching against his former team. You have John Cooper, who's one of the greatest coaches in the league and probably in the history of the NHL. You have a veteran team who's going to be without Victor Hedman for the rest of the first round. It came out today. So Tampa's without their top defenseman. But they're a stacked team. They're still very solid. You got players like Kucherov and Point and Sorelli and Hagel. Their defense is solid, and of course they're going to have Vasilevsky. I still think this is going to be a good series, very fast, high-scoring, up-tempo series. I just think the Canadians are going to lack it in one area, and that's goaltending. They got Jakub Dobeš playing right now. He's a rookie. His backup is also a rookie, Jacob Fowler. I just don't think they're strong enough in goal. And when push comes to shove, I always believe that goaltending wins series in the playoffs. And with Vasilevsky on one side, he's going to get the advantage. So I'm going to pick Tampa to win this series in 6 games.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you mentioned goaltending because like I looked like I've looked in the past, and since the 2023 playoffs, excuse me, Vasilevsky is 4-13 in the playoffs, and that's a save percentage of 878. So he hasn't had the best record since the Lightning last one the since when they went all the way in winning the cup. So I think it's both ways. You can see that both teams are going to be struggling with that, but like I said, it always comes down to the youth factor, and Juraj Slavkovsky. I mean, what can you say about him except like he's been great, and it's just not it's not just him. It's Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki. It's the whole team that works together like a well-oiled machine, and I just feel that they already have a 1-0 lead in the series. Worst come, they will have a one all tied series going into Bell Center, and trust me, that's you want to have you want to have a lead going into Bell Center, and of course that's a very dangerous place to be playing if you're an away team.
So who are you picking to win the series?
I'm picking the Montreal Canadiens.
Really? And how many games?
I'll go with 6.
Okay, interesting. So we differ on that series as well. So you and I are not agreeing on these series except for the Flyers series. All right. Let's go to the final series in the East right now. And I got to tell you, this was the one I was most excited to watch the other night. Boston going against the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo had not been in the playoffs in 15 years. Their fans had waited forever. They had a great sign on the back of the arena the other night. I waited 5,400 and some odd days for this. I'm like, well, yeah, that's 14 years. So they came into the game 1, and what was interesting, they were trailing in this game for a while. They couldn't score, and what I found really interesting is the crowd, the home crowd in Buffalo, who waited forever for their team to make the playoffs, started to boo them. And I'm like, wait a minute. You waited forever to get in the playoffs, and now you're booing your team because they haven't scored yet? What kind of fans are these? And then all of a sudden, after Jeremy Swayman was playing a heck of a game, boom, 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 3 goals in a span of 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. And Buffalo took the lead 3-2. They had an empty netter, made it 4-2. Boston got one back. So the Sabres won game 1, 4-3. I got to tell you, I'm wearing my heart over my brain on this series. I know a lot of people out there are also rooting for them. I got to pick the Sabres in this series. I just have to. They finished first in the division this year. They had a great year. They're a young, fast team. If they can get goaltending from my favorite goaltender name, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, I just like saying that, from UPL, I think they're winning this series. Swayman put up a fight the other night. Tonight will be an interesting test. See who wins game 2. But I'm actually going to go with Buffalo in 6 in this series to advance to the next round.
Yeah, I agree with you. Agree with you on that. Kind of. I didn't like how the Buffalo. It kind of reminds me of Toronto's crowd. It's kind of like the game is not over till the final whistle. So you gotta expect the unexpected in a Stanley Cup playoff, let alone. So. I saw that. I love that never give up attitude from the Sabres, and that's a youth factor coming up to play again. So, I like that in play, and that gives me hope that of course you can't rely on that every single game, but I agree with you. The Sabres has been dominant throughout the season, and I expect them to do something like that again. Picking the Sabres in 6 games as well.
Okay, so we agree with that. All right, so we both gave our predictions for the Eastern Conference. Now, before we go to the West, let's do it this way. We're going to now tell who's going to advance to the next rounds and who will be in the Stanley Cup Finals representing the Eastern Conference. So, in my case, I would have Philadelphia going against Ottawa in the second round of the playoffs. Very interesting matchup there. Two teams that haven't really done well in the playoffs in a long time. I'm going to actually pick the Ottawa Senators to advance again in that round, 6 or 7 games. And they're going to go up in the conference finals. And this one's hard to pick. You're going to have Buffalo going against Tampa Bay. I love the Sabres. I just think they're not ready for prime time just yet. So I'm going to pick Tampa to get out of that series, which would give you a Tampa-Ottawa Eastern Conference final. And again, this comes down to, for me, goaltending again. And I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning in the East to represent the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Finals. Ish, what do you give me on your other predictions and get me to the Eastern Conference Final for yourself?
So of course so in obviously, like, I chose in that other division, I chose Carolina and Philadelphia. So in that one, I think Carolina has been. By the way, Carolina has been in 7 straight playoffs and hasn't won the cup. So I think I'm not saying they're going to win the cup, but I think that they have to progress further this time. And I think this is also a young team, Carolina, not as young as Philadelphia, but I think they've got the experience. I think they've made changes to their team, obviously. I think they've got the necessary upgrades. I think Philadelphia is still getting there. It's not their time yet, so I will give Carolina in 7 games to get past the Flyers.
Okay.
And between Buffalo and Montreal, I mean, both teams are young, but this was a record-breaking season for Montreal. This is we saw that, of course. I will say that Montreal will kind of take it over in 5 games over Buffalo. So Buffalo has a bright future ahead for them, of course. There's no question about that. But in the conference finals, you got Montreal and Carolina, and this all comes down to like you were talking about goaltending, and Freddie Anderson has been at the top of this season. He's been great
When he's healthy.
He's healthy, of course. When he's healthy, of course.
Yep.
And I think he's going to take Carolina to the Stanley Cup Finals.
So you got Carolina representing the Eastern Conference. Okay.
Yes.
So you have Carolina, I have Tampa. So we're going to mark that down. Then we get back, we'll do our Stanley Cup final predictions. So now let's go over to the Western Conference. And again, some of the series have started. We understand that. Let's start with the first series that started the whole playoffs this year, and that's Colorado, the number 1 overall seed, the President Trophy winner, going against the LA Kings, who basically made it on the last day of the season. To me, everybody's predicting this to be a no contest. And, Colorado has so much firepower. They were number 1 from the beginning of the season all the way through. They've been a juggernaut. As long as their goaltending holds up, there's no way that LA's beating them. I'm sorry, it's not happening. They put up a good fight in Game 1. They lost 2-1. Artemi Panarin is on the Kings now. He's a good goal scorer, although I will tell you from watching him in the playoffs over the years with the Rangers, he's not a big playoff performer, but we'll see. I just don't see how you could beat Colorado in this series. So I got Colorado winning the series. I'm going to give the Kings a game, but I got Colorado winning the series in 5 games.
Yeah, first of all, not just this game, but in the first day on Saturday, on the first day of the playoffs, there were 3 games happening, and we saw surprisingly, only one goal scored in the first periods of those three games combined. So, and one of those three games was Colorado and LA. So LA kind of held on for a while. So it's kind of interesting how that happened. Um, so, so LA. So I think. Excuse me. That was on. I think that was on Sunday, wasn't it? Yeah. That was. On, oh, excuse. Yeah, but on Sunday, Colorado and LA, they were scoreless for the first period. So the same thing happened for the first three games, except for one where the goal was scored in the Dallas and Minnesota game. So LA held their own, but yeah, I think this is going to be a rollover game, rollover series. I think Colorado will go over them 4-0 for in the series.
Okay, so you have a sweep. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Total possibility of that happening. So let's go to the next series, and this is the series I think everybody's been looking forward to because these two teams. It's a shame that after the first round, one of these teams is going to go home because either one of these teams legitimately can win the Stanley Cup this year. But this is the playoff format the NHL is going with because they love their stupid bracket challenge and they got to make the little fans happy. I don't agree with it. I would do the old format 1 through 8, but that's not happening. So right now we have Dallas against Minnesota. Minnesota won the first game on the road in Dallas. That was a little bit of a surprise, and they dominated. They won heavily, 6-1. Dallas came back and won last night to even the series 1 game apiece. This series is going 7 games. It just has to go 7 games. These two teams are just too good. It's going to go back and forth. But ultimately, when you get to Game 7, again, both teams are strong all over the place. So the way I look at it, you got one guy on the back line for Minnesota. His name is Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes is a former Norris Trophy winner. Great player. Dallas has some good D as well, but they don't have anybody like Quinn Hughes. Yeah, goaltending's pretty even with Ottinger and with Wallstedt, who's a rookie, but he's been playing really well. But at the end of the day, because my boy Matt Zuccarello is on the Wild, even though he didn't play last night, I'm picking the Wild to win this series in 7. I think it's finally time for Minnesota to make a statement in the playoffs. They get knocked out all the time. It seems like in the first round every year. It's not happening this year. This year, Minnesota is going to be advancing. They're going to get past Dallas in 7 games.
Yeah, I have the same prediction. I'm picking Minnesota as well. They just it's their time. It's kind of a toss up, of course. Like it's been very hard to decide a bit between them, but. But you know, like you have to pay, they're pretty evenly matched and everything. But the Quinn Hughes factor, you just can't ignore that. And Kirill Kaprizov, I mean, that's just he's been the mainstay for Minnesota. And of course and of course with the all other factors included and all the other players, I mean. This team has just been outstanding. I like and Dallas has also the great players Mikko Rantanen and of course and the Jake Ottinger, but I just feel that this is Minnesota's time as well, and I would love to go with Dallas because I would love to see that streak about making the Western Conference Finals again, but I think it's high time somebody else made a change in the appearance.
So you're picking Minnesota as well, and how many? Are you picking it in 7 as well? Or?
7 games as well, yeah.
We agree on this series. Both of us have Minnesota in 7. All right, that's really good. 2 more series to talk about. Let's go over to Vegas, where you got the Vegas Golden Knights against the Utah Mammoth, who I think have the best jersey in hockey right now. I'm going to be buying one. This is Utah's first trip ever to the playoffs. Of course, they came over from Arizona, but they've only been in like 2 years. They're in the playoffs. They got speaking of young teams, Utah's got a pretty young team as well. Going against Vegas, who's been a little bit up and down this year. However, they made a coaching change near the end of the season. They got rid of Bruce Cassidy, and they brought in my favorite coach, John Tortorella. And since Torts has been at the helm, they haven't lost a regulation game. They're 7-0-2 in regulation since Torts took over. They won Game 1 the other night against Utah, so they're up 1-0. Game 2 will be tonight. This is going to be a close series. I don't feel that Vegas is going to dominate because they just haven't had a dominating season. They're a little suspect in goal. They have Carter Hart playing right now. He played well the other night, but again, it's Carter Hart. He missed a whole year and a half of hockey. I'm not convinced that the goaltending is going to beat them. Utah's going to put up a fight, especially at home where they're a really good team. But at the end of the day, I still think the coaching of Torts is going to help get these Knights through. So I like the Vegas Golden Knights to win this series as well in 7 games.
I feel that so since the coaching changed, there has been a difference. Of course, I haven't seen this is not the same Vegas Golden Knights we've seen in the past years. Of course, it's not been, but like obviously as I will admit that this has been a different team with this has been like they have maintained their scoring with the addition of Mitch Marner, of course. So that's something. He's one of the he's probably the reason why they've still kept up to pace with their scoring and all. But regardless, this is not the same. The biggest Golden Knights that looked threatening all those years ago. But so I think I do agree this will go 7 games, but I kind of hesitant to think that Utah might turn things around. But I will because of the experience, I will go with Vegas in 7 as well.
So we agree on this series as well.
Yeah.
This same amount of games as well. That's interesting. All right. Keep a note of that. We got 2 more. The last series to talk about, and it was the last series to start. They just played Game 1 last night. That's the Edmonton Oilers, who are the number 1 seed in the Pacific Division, going up against the Baby Ducks. And I'm Mighty Ducks. I like to call them Rangers West because there's a lot of ex-Rangers that are on this team. Truba, Kreider. There's a bunch. Ryan Strome is on. No, Ryan Strome is not on the team. He was on the team. Vetrano. A lot of former Rangers on this team. Going against Connor McDavid and his friends. Here's the situation. I hate the Edmonton Oilers. They get pumped up like they're such a great team and they're awesome. And yes, they've been in the finals the last 2 years. They're a 2-player team. Without McDavid and without Draisaitl, who came back last night to play, they got nothing. They got no scoring at all. Thank God they got McDavid and Draisaitl, but that's it. Evan Bouchard has had a fantastic year on the blue line, but with Connor Ingram in goal, no, I don't see it happening. The Baby Ducks are the Baby Ducks. They're a really young team. They got a lot of great future players on this team. They're going to have really good careers. Between Carlson and all these other guys they have on the team, they're just a young, fun team to watch. At the end of the day, most people are going to pick Edmonton in this series. I'm not. Not this year. I think they're done. Ismail smirking. So I am picking the Baby Ducks. They're down 1-0 right now. I think the Baby Ducks are going to win this series in 6 games. I think the Ducks are getting through. Quack, quack. Okay, what do you think? I know you don't agree with me.
No, actually, it's funny because we have a sweep on the West because I also agree with the Ducks on this one.
Oh, look at us! We're in agreement with everything. We don't even need sound effects for this. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, so this one is a very ugly series because both teams are kind of unpredictable. The right term is chaotic. To describe both teams. Most and that should be more. I mean, the Oilers should take that more offensively. For them because they're the more experienced team, and they have been into the finals before twice, so they should not be as chaotic as the Ducks. But like I said, these Ducks they surprised us all, and Edmonton, they still, after all this time, after everything we've been through, they still have that goalie issue and everything, and their offense is just it goes through Draisaitl and McDavid, and then after that the talent drop off is just steep, and then Yeah, so like they've got a few weapons, but this, like you said, and the Anaheim Ducks are a fun team to watch, and the youth movement is strong in this team, and I I won't go with 6 games, but I will go with 7 games with the Anaheim Ducks.
All right, but we agree on all four first rounds in the Western Conference. That's
Yeah.
interesting. All right, so what we've been doing, let's do this now. For the West, in the second round, I would have Colorado going against Minnesota. Again, Colorado best team in the league. Minnesota not too far behind them. I'm riding my wild coattails. This is going to be their season to do something special. And again, I'm not sold on the Avalanche goaltending with the Woods. They've had a good year, but I'm sorry. I just don't think they're going to carry this team too far. I love the Swedish combination of Wallstedt and Gustafsson that Minnesota has. Billy Guerin has built a very balanced team. You got a physical team. You got the Foligno brothers playing. They're big boys. You got Matt Boldy, who's a great goal scorer, along with Kaprizov. You got a great defensive system, especially led by Brock Faber back there. Minnesota does, and if my boy Zook can get back in the lineup, which hopefully he will soon, he's another contributor. This team is loaded. I'm going to go with Minnesota to get past Colorado to advance to the conference finals. And they will be facing the winner of the Vegas-Anaheim series, in my opinion. I love the Baby Ducks, but not that much. I think the Ducks are going to put up a fight against Vegas. Vegas has the experience on their side. A lot of these players have been in the finals before with Vegas, like Mark Stone. They know what it's like. They got other players. Mitch Marner on the team, obviously, has helped out a lot. Jack Eichel won a cup with them. Again, it all goes down to, once again, the goaltending here. And even though either team has great goaltending, I'm still going to go with the veteran leadership of the Golden Knights to get past Anaheim. So I'm going to have Vegas winning that series in 6. And that'll set up a interesting conference finals between Vegas and Minnesota. And at the end of the day, I'm sticking with my boys. I'm sticking with my Wild. This is their time. I think Minnesota is going to make the Stanley Cup Finals. So they're going to represent the Western Conference. It's going to be Minnesota in 7 games to beat Vegas. So my matchup is going to be Minnesota in the West against Tampa in the East. And we'll give the winner shortly. So that's my Western Conference. Ishmael, what about you?
Yeah, I think that's where we kind of differ. I believe that Colorado, they're just a juggernaut of all sorts. I think because of how strong they're. I mean, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar. I mean, all these, and now and Nazem Kadri and all these. Nazem Kadri is one of the best scorers, and he's on the third line in this team. So, I mean, you talk about a team like this, and they're all around the team, number one in the front, number one in the back. I think Minnesota, because this is relatively an inexperienced in the playoffs team, as compared to Colorado. I will give the edge to Colorado to progress. And so that's my pick, Colorado. In 6 games, of course. I don't think this will be an easy as much as it was against the Kings, of course. In the other game, Vegas and Anaheim Ducks. I mean, I will agree with you on that. Vegas has won the cup before, and they've been through this. They're not like the Edmonton Oilers. The Anaheim Ducks are going up a completely different animal, a different beast in the playoffs. I think Vegas will roll over them in 5 games.
Oh.
So yeah, that sets up Colorado and Vegas Golden Knights in my Western Conference Finals, and of course, because we've always discussed that the Pacific division is the weak division. So I mean, it's a no-brainer. Colorado is gonna overtake Vegas. I will say five games.
Okay.
And this is, I mean, like I said, Colorado is a juggernaut. So I'm setting up Colorado, the both number one teams in each conference, of Colorado versus Carolina.
You went chalk. Interesting. All right. So before we give our final predictions, Our little buddy, the beauty Carly, is not here. Like I said, she's out gallivanting somewhere. But she did send us in her slate of predictions, and she made a really pretty graphic. So, Ishmael, if you have that, why don't we put that on the screen so we could see what Carly predicted? We could see her final matchup and who she has winning the cup, and then you and I will give our predictions for who we think is going to win the finals, as well as who's going to win the MVP of the series of the playoffs. So I want to give that as well. So, Ish, do you have Carly's bracket that you were able to pull up on the screen?
Yeah, I'm just getting it out. Yeah.
Okay, because Carly had some very interesting picks. I liked her picks. I liked her being ballsy, but unfortunately, she's not here to defend herself right now. So, but we're going to honor our friend by showing her predictions. And there we go. A little small. If you look in the Eastern Conference, she has Buffalo advancing over the Bruins. She has Tampa advancing over Montreal. She has Ottawa beating Carolina, and she has the Flyers winning in the Pittsburgh Philly series. She then has Ottawa and Tampa going in the next round, and she has the Tampa Bay Lightning, like Rob, going to the Eastern Conference Finals to represent the Eastern Conference in the Cup. On the West side, she, like both of us, has Colorado going past LA Kings. She has Minnesota, like myself, beating Dallas. She has Utah in a bit of a surprise, beating Vegas, so she's against you and I. And she predicted the Oilers against both you and I predictions would beat Anaheim. She has an interesting conference finals that would be Edmonton and she has Edmonton and Utah going. She has Edmonton coming out of that series. Colorado, Minnesota, she has Colorado coming out of that series. And she has the Avalanche, like Ishmael, in the Stanley Cup Finals. So Carly has one team that I like in the finals, and she has one team that Ishmael has in the finals. And if I can see correctly, it looks like she has the Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
So those are Carly's predictions. Now, let's you and I give our predictions. For me, I have a final of Tampa Bay going against Minnesota. Again, I love Minnesota. I really wanted to have a good series run this year, and I think they will. I think they're going to represent the West. There's just too much talent on this team to be overlooked this time around. They're loaded. They don't have any weaknesses. The goaltending, again, it's a rookie goalie, so you never know how he's going to perform under the big lights. And we'll get back to that in a minute. But I'm very happy with my pick for Minnesota being in the finals. So going against Tampa Bay, this team has been in the finals before. They recently won back-to-back cups. They have a great coach in John Cooper. But the one thing that's going to prevail in this series, and it goes back to what I said earlier, is goaltending. And that being said, with Andrei Vasilevsky in the nets, and as Ishmael said earlier, he hasn't really played well coming into the season in goal for the last few years. I think he has a bounce back playoffs this year, and I think he alone will get the Tampa Bay Lightning across the finish line. I have Tampa Bay over Minnesota in 6 games. I have the Tampa Bay Lightning again. The cup stays in Florida for the 5th year in a row. Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup, and I have Andrei Vasilevsky as my MVP of the playoffs, my Conn Smythe winner. So that's my predictions. You can hold me to it. If I'm right, great. If I'm wrong, who cares? It's just a prediction. Doesn't really matter. Ishmael, you're on the clock.
All right, so the Carolina Hurricanes, like I said, they've been in the playoffs for the longest, for 7 years without winning a cup. So that's a long Stanley Cup drought while being in the playoffs. So I think, again, and you said it the best, that goaltending is what builds the champions, and to be the best, you gotta beat the best. This Colorado team.
Blair said it: to beat the man, you gotta beat the man. Yes, I know. Okay, good, close enough.
So Colorado is as best as they can be. So I think Freddie Anderson will get his time to shine. I think he will help Colorado finally get to the promised land. I'm calling this a Carolina win in 7 games for the Stanley Cup. And Freddie Anderson, former Toronto Maple Leaf.
They're everywhere. Like rainbows, they're everywhere. You got Freddie as your MVP.
Yes.
Wow, that would be interesting. If he can stay healthy, who knows?
Yeah.
So, all right. So the thing is, it's interesting that the 3 of us, we each have different winners of the Cup. Carly has Colorado. I have Tampa. You have Carolina. Hopefully one of us is correct. we'll see what happens. But those are our Stanley Cup predictions. So everybody out there, if you're watching the show, write them down and heckle us if you'd like, or comment about it if you'd like too. We'd love to hear from you guys. Those are our predictions. The next 2 months are going to be crazy. The best time of the year. We love the playoffs. They're exciting. Don't watch the NBA. It's very boring. Who cares? Half the teams didn't even go above 500. Who gives a crap what they do? You got good teams in the NHL all battling to win this cup. And winning the Stanley Cup, I think, is the hardest championship to win in any sport. And you're going to see why. These games are going to be great. We have 2 games going on right now, so we're going to wrap up the show a little early so we can go watch the hockey. So that being said, Ishmael, you have any other final thoughts before we call it a show? Okay, great. That's good. No politics. I mean, look. How can we not end the show with Rick Astley? So, for Rick Astley, for Ismail, and myself, Rob, this is Saving the Beauty. Bye-bye. We'll see you next week while we're deep in the playoffs. So long, everybody. Peace out.